Hello and a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the world, and welcome to today's Postgrad Insight session, today brought to you by the University of Westminster. Today we're going to be talking about fashion, in particular about fashion design, manufacturing, sustainability, and business, and how it can elevate your career. Before we go any further and I introduce you to Rain and Nicola today, a reminder today's session is live. If you have any questions, please put your questions in the Q&A box or the chat facility. If you are watching on Facebook today, which is a live stream, please put your comments in the comment box at the bottom or message us at Postgrad Solutions, and we'll endeavour to get back to you as soon as possible. It might not be live, it might be later on today or another day. But for now, I'd like to hand you over to Rain and Nicola. They're going to be taking you through the next 30 to 45 minutes. I'll be back for the Q&A at the end. If there's any problems, I'm around. Let us know. Use the chat facility. Please say hi. And I'd like to hand over to Rain and Nicola now. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our discussion about fashion at Westminster and postgraduate studies. My name is Rain Reed, and I'm very happy to welcome you live from our Menswear Design studio in London. So for the next bit of time, my colleague Nicola Mansfield and I are going to take you through a little bit of an introduction to postgraduate fashion at Westminster, tell you a little bit about the university and a little bit about our programs. We've invited two students to join us today who are currently studying postgraduate business management for fashion, and they'll be answering some of our questions and some of your questions. And then we'll wrap up with any final questions that remain and talk about next steps. So I just wanted to also call your attention to that vibrant image that is on the slide in front of you. That is an example of our menswear design show, our runway show from last spring. So you can see the vibrancy that is fashion at Westminster. Let's move on. Let me formally introduce myself. My name is Rain Reed. I am the postgraduate fashion business management course leader. I'm involved in the curriculum design for our overall postgraduate fashion program, which Nicola and I will introduce you to today. My undergraduate studies were in business finance, and my graduate studies involve cultural leadership. So how fashion specifically connects in with social, cultural, and economic realities. I have been in the business of fashion for over 30 years with the privilege of working around the globe, learning a lot about how fashion translates culturally. I'll turn the time over to Nicola.
Hi, everybody. It's great that you joined us today, and thank you for attending. I have been working at the University of Westminster for quite a long time, following, as Rain said, another lengthy global career in fashion, product development, sourcing, textile sourcing, and really lucky to have travelled around the world doing that. And I studied at London College of Fashion and did my undergrad there and my master's in fashion futures, which you can see. I'm currently undertaking a PhD in wool and waste. My interests are very much in sustainability and manufacturing. And I have a publication, if you want to have a look for it, Fashion Supply Chain Management, which is a good read, and maybe the students will tell you that they've spent some time looking at it. Thank you, Rain.
Thanks, Nicola. So now I'm going to introduce you to our two students, Andy and Sarah, and they'll introduce a little bit about themselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah, and I'm from Jordan. I moved to London to study fashion business management at the University of Westminster, aiming to merge my marketing and product development background with the commercial side of fashion, as my undergraduate studies are in digital marketing and social media. I have a professional experience in digital marketing, including influencer campaigns and social media advertising, as well as women's wear product development, sewing, and pattern making. After graduation, I hope to join a fashion organization where I can contribute creatively and strategically. My current research focuses on implementing digital product passports in UK fashion startups to promote transparency, sustainability, and innovation.
Hi everyone, and I'm Andy. I'm from Vietnam. My undergraduate background is in finance, but most of my work experience has been in marketing, branding, and advertising, mostly for industries like financial services and health and wellness. But on this side, I have been working on my personal project in fashion, trying to make tailoring experience more accessible to everyday consumers. And this is something I love to grow into a real business one day. And that is the main reason why I came to London to study fashion, because I want to approach fashion properly from a business perspective and to connect with people in the industry, maybe even connect with future collaborators or potential investors. What I'm really trying to figure out through this course is how to build a fashion business that is both sustainable and meaningful for the customers, for the people behind the scenes, the employees, and for the community around it.
Andy, Sarah, thank you so much. They're just two of our amazing students who are currently studying fashion business management with us. So now what we'd like to do is introduce you a little bit to the University of Westminster. So you might have looked on the website, maybe not, but we're going to give you a little bit of insight around what we call a global university with London energy. The University of Westminster, we're very proud to be based in London. We have 4 amazing campuses, and we really pride ourselves on great diversity and positive energy around community and sustainability. So why Westminster? Would it be a good fit for you? Well, let's think about Westminster as an institution. So University of Westminster has been educating students for over 180 years in London. It is one of the most diverse universities in the UK. We have students studying a broad range of disciplines from over 160 countries. We focus as a university on careers, employment, and entrepreneurship. I'll give you an example of that in a minute. And again, we have 4 campuses across London, 3 in central London, and then 1 in Harrow, which Nicola will take you through some of the detail on our creative campus at Harrow. Aligned with all of those campuses and that rich diversity of students, we have specialist teaching facilities that really enhance research and studies and your work as a student and our work as a teaching team. So we're also very proud of the expert and extensive student support that we offer to all of the students who attend at the University of Westminster. Now, what that support looks like is we have excellent links in the industry and professional bodies. So we really focus at Westminster and certainly at Postgraduate Fashion on employability. Your ability to study here, invest in yourself and your future, and then translate that into a career and to a positive impact on the industry is really what we're about. So whether it's connecting to live brands in projects, or maybe it's key organizations like the UKFT or the British Fashion Council, or even really strong industry organizations like fashion forecasting through WGSN or stylists, we really stay connected on what is happening in the industry and how that translates for you. Secondly, we offer an extensive range of academic and student support. Every student has a personal tutor, and you have personalized support within each class, and certainly when it comes to your dissertation. The third big advantage of Westminster, as I've already said, is we are a very diverse community. of global students. That means we have a multitude of attitudes and ideas and perspectives, and it all comes together at the university. What this means for students studying fashion is that they can take advantage of that London energy that is all about fashion. And there's London Fashion Week and lots of London brands. And even on campus, you'll see there's so much energy around global fashion. And then we can definitely say that we celebrate diversity here, multicultural, multi-interdisciplinary learning in every classroom. And we feel like that's a big advantage as you step into the industry. One example of how the University of Westminster continues to look forward and take its employability and entrepreneurial agenda ahead, you can see this is an example of what we're calling Zone 29, which is a new space that's opening sometime in 2026. And it will be a hub for student career success. So this is where students and educators and other communities will come together and co-create ideas around business collaborations, creative collaborations, and you can get a sense of the building that is currently under construction and what it might look like. Just an example of how Westminster's always looking forward and building on that London energy. Now, we won't have time to take a look at this video, but we'll pop this in the chat. And we really encourage you to look at this video called We Are Westminster, a great spoken word poem by Sahara, who was the president of the student union. And you get great shots of London. You can see our campuses, and you definitely understand the vibe that is Westminster. So do take a look at that video when you get a chance. Now over to you, Nicola, to talk about Harrow.
So this is where Rain and I are based. Harrow campus, you may have heard it's a sort of northwest London area, and it's only 20 minutes from the centre of everything. If you've been to London before, Oxford Circus, where everybody heads possibly. We're very close, but we're really fortunate to have this amazing building. The pink staircase is often on Instagram. And we also have halls of residence on site. And we're set in really beautiful parkland. It's very, it's good for your well-being. It's good. We have a really brilliant new gym as well. So yeah, that's great. And in that we have some of the studios here and some of the work that's been created in art and design. So we've got laser cutting, 3D printing. We've got our design studios that are very extensive, specifically for menswear, the masters, and you can see the photography studios. And there's inductions and training into all these spaces, and they're good for you to direct your research into the techniques you want to use. We have an amazing resource, which is our menswear archive. And menswear has been particularly underrepresented in the history of fashion. It's really just assumed that it's a women's interest, and there aren't many collections that just focus on menswear. Well, we have it. We lend out to many exhibition spaces around the world. We also put on our own exhibitions. They've done a lot of work with Umbro. They did a big exhibition, which was the largest menswear exhibition in the world, called The Invisible Man, and it's a resource for students. There is another film that's a YouTube film, and I think the link is also going to be put in the chat, which shows students using the Menswear Archive and how important it is. But not only is it used by students, it's used by brands coming into the university. We have a bigger archive than they have, and we're really, really proud of it. And it's a great learning resource as well as an industry resource. And of course, we do stuff, we make stuff. We have students who are making and doing projects particularly linked with sustainable development, because we know, as we said, we're very future facing. We know how the industry will have to change. It's not really a choice. So this photograph on the right is a zero waste project, and it was actually by first years on the design course. What we were able to do with that was link it into our sustainable fashion modules and do a really interesting series of events which were around waste, around reuse, around how to treat denim responsibly and how to create denim responsibly. So we worked with a scientist, we worked with a laundry, and denim producers who are making bespoke denim in London. And we worked with the students, and we did a Q&A with the students who made these beautiful garments. And historically, this has always been part of what we've done. So we started, I think it was 2 years ago, the Conscious Fashion Space, which is a kind of small studio shop where we can do kind of bespoke events. It's used by the Fashion Society and students within Westminster, but we've also hosted small events, clothes swaps, wreath making, that type of thing. We go out to factories. On the top right, there's a factory that's in North London. We had a very big event with a brand called Crag Hoppers and a science initiative company called Lanzatech, who were looking at recycling carbon into polyester, which is really mind-blowing. And actually, I'm sitting on the stage. I've got a good shot of my ankles there. We have a graduate who comes in to do workshops. On the right there, the girl standing on the chair. They do upcycling of shirts, and she's now grown her business so much that she's actually getting people in the UK to make some of the product for her. She was making it herself. She's had a pop-up in Selfridges. She's just done a pop-up at Battersea Power Station, if you know those sites and those stores. So we're always bringing people in. And I'll hand over now to Rain to talk us through the modules, and I'll join you back again when we get to the matrix.
All right, so we've given you the sense of what Westminster is about, why Westminster might be of an advantage to you if you wanted to study fashion, and all of the events around, well, some of the events, not all, some of the events around your study at fashion at Westminster. But now what Nicola and I would like to do is to take you into a little bit more detail on why would you study fashion at Westminster. Well, we think it's really important that you understand there's a broad range of options at Westminster, both undergraduate and postgraduate. And our postgraduate study, we're building for 2025-26, adding 3 new courses to our existing 2. We'll take you through that detail. But because we have such a strong history, this is our 18th year of running fashion business management, we wanted to build on an existing structure as we think about more broadly about postgraduate studies. So our key focus is always industry relevant skills. As I said before, we want to enhance your employability in the global fashion industry, whether you're interested in working in London or you want to go to another country, continue your experience. We want to ensure you have those globally relevant skills. As Andy said, we do balance theory and practical guidance and education, and we're really focused on expert-led lectures, whether it's academics or we bring in people from the industry to help you really understand multiple perspectives about what is a very complex industry. You've seen the state-of-the-art resources that we have, and we really focus on authentic learning, meaning as students, we really look to you to engage in many of the discussions, to deliver your own point of view through your projects. It's really about your own authentic learning in the best possible way, all wrapping up to a future-ready focus for your fashion career. A small example of places that our graduates have joined after their studies. So you can see many of the big fashion brands and businesses, and so many behind this. Names that you wouldn't know, but they're very powerful in the industry. But again, just an example of some graduate success. Now let's think about what you might want to study if you decide to come to London and the University of Westminster. I'm going to take you through our existing courses. So if you look on the left-hand side of the screen, MA Fashion Business Management, where you've met two of our students already today. We've been running that course. Again, this is its 18th year. And we have a very strong foundation with core studies that are holistic to the industry, things like strategy, marketing, entrepreneurship. And then you'll have the opportunity to decide on maybe some areas of specialty. Maybe you'll want to understand more about the way the fashion business runs in buying and merchandising, or more about fashion activism. So you'll have some options to choose in addition to core study. On the far right-hand side of the screen is the MA and MFA in menswear design. We're in the menswear studio today, and behind me, you can see an example of the type of work that our menswear students do. This is an example of garments created with Alexander McQueen. So our menswear program works very closely with McQueen on a project, and they provide all of the materials and tutorials, and there's a project around creating innovative and interesting garments in menswear using tailoring techniques. So that's what is behind me as a real example of work that our students produce. We really work closely with industry to ensure that industry experts, live brands, are engaging with you in your research, in your studies. That's really important. So on both sides, we've got a business program and we've got a menswear program. Menswear has been running for about 6 years. So we've got 2 strong starts, and we're adding 3 new courses. Nicola, do you want to take us through those?
Thank you, Rain. The new courses are built from what we see as a demand, but also a fantastic opportunity for students to really think about what will the future of the fashion industry look like. We know that actually manufacturing needs a kind of reinvention, and we're thinking about what we call sustainable supply chain management, in that the business opportunities are all in the remanufacture, the recycle, the repair. So these courses connect all those ideas. Fashion accessories is everything but shoes, really, when you think about that. And obviously 3D printing, sustainability issues all come into that. You know, use of materials is really key in fashion accessories. Fashion manufacturing, we are fortunate to be partnered with the UK fashion and textile industry, and they have accredited this course. So we know there are textile manufacturers, garment manufacturers, small, medium enterprises in the UK that will really want to be involved with this, not just for their own academic development, but for their input and jobs for them and recruitment for them going forward. And then MA Fashion Sustainability, from the farm to the consumer and all the way back again. We're looking at circularity, the issues with circularity, particularly legislation, and what the demands of business and different perspectives of legality are requiring, and how that can all be set against the background of climate change. But we really want to focus on solutions, not problems. I think that sometimes it's just so depressing. So we want to just really think about, how can we do this better? How can we do this differently? Thanks, Rain.
So as Nicola said, this suite of courses is available to you from 2025, September 2025. There is one course that all disciplines take, which is the sustainable supply chain. And then every course has its own set of research projects that are slightly different depending on the discipline, and its core modules. And then there are a number of options that students can take, again, ranging from entrepreneurship to activism to risk management. Have a look if you're interested in any of these on our website. Each course has its own page and a detail of the classes that are within each course. So have a look at that as you're interested to do so. This is just another overall example of the themes of each course and how they're different. One point to just consider, our manufacturing course and our accessories design course have part-time options. So that might be of interest to you if you're already in London and working in the industry, and a part-time option might help you progress your postgraduate work. So let's now turn the camera around and have some questions. I'll ask some questions of Sarah and Andy, who are our students. Now remember, they're studying fashion business management, so their perspective comes from that existing course, but you can understand the themes and our approach to fashion education through their answers. So Sarah, Andy, I'm going to ask the first question is, can you share with us what you have found most interesting in your nearly 1 year of study at University of Westminster?
Well, one of the most interesting aspects of the course has been gaining a deeper understanding of what really happens behind fashion supply chains and sustainability. So, for example, I had some awareness of supply chain operations before, but now I understand the strategic importance of planning, forecasting, and stock management, especially in fast fashion environments. It's given me a much clearer picture of how operational decisions directly affect the profits and sustainability.
Well, for me, what I have found most interesting is how well the course balances academic depth with real world application. And this balance is built right into every assignment. Every brief is built around real industry scenarios, like developing a 5-year strategy for Burberry, analyzing innovation opportunity for growth for Geox, or creating a launching plan for Solid to enter the UK market. And that approach has helped me to think more critically, more strategically, while still being very grounded in what actually works in the fashion industry.
Right. Really interesting. Now maybe you can share with us what you've learned about being an insider in the fashion industry. So when you started your study, you had some experience in the fashion industry, but you've now learned a lot more about the inside of the industry. Can you just share one or two key things that maybe have surprised you or you've learned about the inside of the industry?
So one key insight I gained about the fashion industry is the importance of collaboration and teamwork. Through group projects in the course, I learned how essential it is to work across diverse cultures and perspectives, reflecting with global nature of fashion. These experiences demonstrated that creativity and strategy flourish when varied voices unite. Another significant insight was the role of business and brand strategy. A standout example was studying Burberry, an iconic British brand that we all know. It successfully reinvented itself through repositioning, digital innovation, and strong storytelling. In our business strategy module, we developed a 5-year plan for Burberry, as Andy said, which helped me understand how luxury brands align creative direction with commercial goals.
Okay. From my point of view, one key insight I have learned is that the fashion industry is constantly evolving, not just in the sense of product trends or styles, but in how the industry is trying to respond to a bigger long-term challenges. A good example is about the circular fashion. The term of fashion circularity is a concept that keeps gaining momentum. The idea has been around for a while, but the industry is still figuring it out how to make it work at scale and at an affordable price. So what I've learned is that this kind of change takes time, experimentation, and a lot of collaboration. The course has helped me to see how businesses are constantly adapting, not just creatively, but also strategically to solve these challenges in a real and practical ways.
Fabulous. It sounds like all that hard work is paying off.
Yeah.
So I think one question is, can you give our attendees today an example of a project that you've worked on through your studies that you're really proud of?
Well, one project I'm really proud of is the marketing plan my group and I developed for Solid, which is a contemporary fashion brand. We work closely as a team to create a comprehensive and innovative strategy tailored to the brand's identity and market positioning. This project was especially rewarding because our work was actually recognized by Solid. The CEO herself nominated us for a prize. It was an incredible moment for us that validated our strategic thinking, creativity, and collaboration. And it gave me a real sense of how our classroom learning translates into real life impact.
Can I pick more than one? Because it is hard to pick just one. I love so many things about this course. So I would say here, there are 3 projects that I'm really proud of for different reasons. The first was in the fashion strategic management, where we had to create a 5-year program for Burberry, as what was been talking with. And it was so exciting to work on something that is actually happening in the real world at that time. And I kept checking the Burberry's news after the project just to see how close my thinking was to their real strategy. And it was a cool way to train my mindset. And then my second project, that is my business plan, which I developed in the entrepreneurship module. That was a big personal win for me because I have the chance to turn my idea into something I could confidently present to others and pitching it in a role play as if I were talking to real investors. And I felt very real and kind of scary, but in a good way. And lastly, this is my upcoming dissertation. I will be looking into how national culture plays a role in building fashion brand in Vietnam. It is a topic that's close to home and is something I'm genuinely passionate about. So it's that my 3 projects.
Great. Some great examples. Okay, so that you're nearing the end of your studies, you're just about to embark on your dissertation. Can you help us understand how this course has prepared you for working in the fashion industry?
Well, the course has prepared me for working in the fashion industry in both practical and strategic ways. So the course included a lot of field trips to London-based businesses, and the opportunity to conduct consumer, brand, and product research in the London retail environment have helped me connect theory to real-world practice. Additionally, the executive recruitment workshop with Sasha, who is a specialized recruiter for many luxury brands, has provided valuable insights into the expectations of luxury recruiters. At the same time, the personalized CV feedback that I have received from Rain helped me a lot to tailor my profile to better align with industry standards.
Okay, about me, since I want to run my own business in the future, so one of the most valuable aspects of the course has been the module of fashion business and entrepreneurship. It's really pushed me to take my idea from a loose concept to something more concrete and tangible, using tools like the business model canvas, financial planning, and even doing a role play pitch to investor, like I said before, which were both terrifying and fun, but very helpful. And we also had access to amazing industry resources like the Business of Fashion, Statista, Mintel, and Euromonitor. That's really helped me to understand the market better and think more critically when shaping my business strategy.
Thank you. Just one final question that I think might be on the minds of everyone on this call. What's it really like to study in London? What are the advantages and what have been the challenges?
Well, studying in London has been an exciting and enriching experience. One of the biggest advantages is like I said, it's being in the heart of the global fashion industry, surrounded by many flagship stores, emerging designers, fashion events, and creative talent from all over the world. It offers a constant inspiration and direct access to the real-life case studies, networking opportunities, and insights into how fashion truly operates at the entry level. Another major benefit is the diversity, both within the university and the city itself. Studying alongside people with different cultural and professional backgrounds has broadened my perspective and enhanced my ability to collaborate effectively across all cultures.
Okay. Well, studying in London has been such a unique experience, especially in my perspective, as I'm coming from a tropical country and an emerging economy like Vietnam. So two things that really define London for me: diversity and the weather. Okay, it's a global economic hub, so it's very diverse, but it's also super welcoming. You meet people from everywhere, and that makes the city really dynamic. Another thing I've loved is how much art and culture here is everywhere. I've gone to ballet, concert, museums, and it's added so much richness into my student life. The biggest challenges, definitely the winter. There's no winter in Vietnam.
Yes.
It took a while to adjust, and of course, another challenge is an expensive city. But I guess that is part of the learning experience.
Amazing. Andy, Sarah, thank you so much. So we're now going to turn it over to you. And you get your chance to ask some questions. So Gareth.
Excellent.
What's
Thank
on
you
the
for
mind
that.
of our audience?
Thank you so much for that. I think we've covered so much there, which is fantastic. I think talking about the intricacies of the program, the courses, how that looks, all the way to the weather, which which Andy's just mentioned, which it's not quite as bad as sometimes we make out, but it's certainly, if you're from I think Sarah's from Jordan, so that's quite a hot country. It's not quite the same, but thank you for your time, and it was great to kind of hear all the feedback there. We've had a few questions come in, and I'm going to try and get through them in the most logical order possible. And I know earlier on, Sarah and Andy mentioned, I think within the same minute, really, about challenges and what challenges there are in the fashion industry at the moment, especially when it comes to postgraduate students, just overcoming certain things. Rain, if I can start with yourself, how important is it to remember that although you might hear the word fashion, it's not just shoehorned into what a stereotypical student would think is just fashion. There are so many, broader opportunities around that sector, aren't there?
Absolutely. I think what happens oftentimes with students is they arrive with a very consumer mindset. You understand fashion because you buy fashion, you wear fashion, you live social media, digital worlds in the fashion sphere, if you will. But the truth of it is, most of our students, when they arrive, they discover the vast industry that is behind the beautiful images. And that's everything from strategy to supply chain to marketing to logistics to textile design and manufacturing. Those are just a few examples. There is so much within the fashion industry. It's one of the things that the students really are surprised about. It goes beyond the brand, it goes beyond luxuries, and it goes to the heart of an industry that constantly creates and takes ideas from concept into three-dimensional form. So that's really something we understand that students need to work through, and we design our courses in that way.
Of course, and I think looking at, when I mentioned fashion and I talked about the broader nature of the term fashion, can we talk about the creativity within that? Because quite often one of the things that struck me about Sarah and Andy was they come across as very creative people, with loads of different ideas, which sounds fantastic. Typically, the types of student that will come to the University of Westminster to study, they will have that kind of culture that they are creative thinking, they are forward thinking, and they're looking to make a change and a difference.
Can I have a talk about
Yeah.
that? I think it's quite important to recognise that the fashion courses are within the School of Arts. So we're not science-based, and we're not, although business is in the title of one of our modules, it's only in one of the courses. So we have a business school, and we don't come under their kind of setup. So we are really creative thinkers, but we also sit in our campus at Harrow alongside music and film and photography, who offer masters as well. So that sort of collaboration, you know, we're talking about projects now which might be AI realism for virtual shopping, or manufacture, how AI goes into manufacture. So we're talking about so much about how technology sits within our industry, but also how creativity and the archive is not forgotten. So we have that wonderful sort of serendipity across all of those disciplines, but I think it's important to remember, and you've really honed in on something there, Gareth, that we're in the School of Arts, and we were very comfortable there.
Yeah, absolutely. And also as well, I think it's very, very apt as well that we've got Sarah and Andy joining us today, who are international students themselves, because London is such a cosmopolitan city as a whole. And when it comes to fashion, fashion is very cosmopolitan. You know, universally, fashion, everyone kind of agrees with in a certain way is, you know, comes from within, and it's creative. How important is that when you're studying at the university that you're going to settle in, because there's so many different cultures, so many different backgrounds, so many different interests, so many different nationalities. How important is that, Ray?
It's essential, I think, to really appreciate all of those aspects, to be honest. I think you know, fashion is that self-expression. It starts with the individual, and that individual is connected into culture, and that culture connects to an economy and to society. And I think that intercultural understanding of oneself and within the context of the industry is really important.
Yeah, and Nicola, do you want to elaborate further on that? Because, you know, you're going to have class sizes there, which are not going to be, you know, some of your bigger courses in terms of business and law. You're not going to have 100, 200 students in one class. However, on the flip side to that, it does have its benefits in that every student within the classes perhaps is going to feel, you know, that little bit more welcomed, and perhaps feel that more one-on-one energy.
Yeah, we really enjoy getting to know our students. I think if you look at any of our LinkedIn profiles or my Instagram profile, I have graduates everywhere, all around the world, and I'm very happy for that. So yeah, we get to know you. We know your names. We know where you live. We know what exhibitions you've been to. It's very what we call a high level of pastoral care that we offer. So your dissertation supervisor would be your tutor throughout the year, and there are regular meetings. You never become a number at the art school. So we're really happy about that.
One of the questions that's come in is around the flexibility of the course. We've had Joshua ask about if their interest, maybe their head gets turned by another course, perhaps another interest while they're studying one fashion related course. Can they then change their MA perhaps some way through to suit their new requirements or their new interest?
I think it would be hard to change to another school. There might be some possibility to change within our suite of masters matrix. because some of those modules are core that run across all disciplines. But it's a little bit more difficult to change from one school to another, because then there's a bit of disconnect between. I don't know what you would say about that, Rain.
I would absolutely agree with you. I think there are a couple things to keep in mind. The postgraduate programs are 1 year, and it is a very intense 1-year program. And to change midstream may not be the best idea for you to achieve your objectives. However, the other thing I would say is we expect you to learn new things as you're engaging in the program. And we would expect you to say, well, I'm really interested in learning more about X or Y. And most of the time, that will come through in your dissertation research. So you can work with your personal tutor or your dissertation supervisor or a module leader, for example, who can help you really refine your ideas. I think Andy gave an excellent example of a real business she would like to open, and she's working closely with the module leader of entrepreneurship to develop that idea and really bring it to life. So that kind of maybe deeper understanding is expected. Maybe shifting your focus a little bit is expected. And I think we can accommodate that within the range so that you can be successful.
Excellent. Sarah, can I come to you at this point? Because I think you mentioned earlier during your kind of brief discussion with Rain about what made you come to London, about what, where you're from Jordan, you've come to London to enhance your studies and challenge yourself. What initially made you want to go to London? Because obviously, I think Andy might have mentioned also, it can be very expensive. It can swallow you up perhaps sometimes, London, as can a lot of capital cities. But what was it that really appealed to you about London that made you want to study, not just at Westminster, but in London as a whole?
Well, what really excited me to come to London is because I'm in love with fashion. It is the center of the fashion world. You can see many retailers, many fashion startups here, many designers that are actually based in London. So yeah, that's the main reason why I came here.
Excellent. And if I can come to you as well, similar reasons?
Okay. So before I make my final decision, I did a little research to know what is the difference, like what's distinguished the 4 fashion capitals in general. So I found out that the American is kind of more of a commercial aspect, while Paris and Milan is more of the aesthetic aspect, and London is skewed to something that is always challenging the norm and always striving for social change, and that is what drive me to pick London for my studying.
Excellent. And I'm gonna, if you don't mind, ladies, I'm going to stick with yourself, Sarah and Andy. In terms of the classes, we've heard already from Nicola and Rain about how every academic, every person within that school likes to get to know the students and find out more about them. How has that helped you with your studies? Because there are other courses where it won't just be at Westminster, it'll be all over the country, all over the world. You join a program and you're just a number, whereas I'd rather get the feeling they get to know you personally, who you're about, what makes you tick, what makes you challenged, what makes you excited. How important is that to you and to further your studies as well?
Well, I find that really important. Like all of the our tutors know us personally, knows what exactly we want from the fashion industry, and they try to direct the lectures and our discussions based on our what really interests us.
Excellent. And Andy, yourself?
Yeah, it's really important for me because before I came here, I thought that people here in London or in UK in general are very cold and distant. So I kind of mentally prepare for that situation. But the environment here in University of Westminster is very warm, and it's surprisingly warm. And I feel like in my family, in home, like every teacher, every tutor they really care about student, like every single student, and they know each and every one need, wow, and tailor their approach and communication to really support every student. I really appreciate that.
Excellent. Sarah, Andy, thank you for your time there. Nicola, Rain, I'm going to come back to you. I think one of the questions that have come in and I'm keen to kind of explore is around the career aspects of not only studying in one of the capitals of fashion, one of the major capitals around the world. How important is it that you're in London and you've got those global opportunities central to you where you're based? And how will that help a student's career that is looking at coming to study at Westminster?
Nicola, do you want to take that? Do you want to start?
Yeah, I think because I've been at the university a long time, I've been aware that we've always trained the people in human resources. And so from that, we've got a wonderful platform called Engage, and careers advice and tailored career preparation is available to every student and every graduate for 3 years after they've finished the course. They post opportunities up, and that's really, really well managed, and that's a service to all students at Westminster. But on top of that, because our undergraduate course has a work placement year, and because of our connections with industry, we are actively recruiting students into their work placements. So we have also those connections. On top of that, we have an international ambassador who brings in career advice particularly for international students, because we know, with visas, it's complicated. So we help them with that process. And I know, Rain, you have Sasha coming in, and I don't know so much about Sasha, so I want to maybe hand over to you there.
Yeah, so we really believe that success in the industry is based on what you're doing to help yourself. So we'll bring in lots of guests that will help you understand the industry. We also bring in executive recruiters. I think Sarah talked a little bit about Sasha, who comes in, who's an executive recruiter, who spends the day with the students in a workshop. And we practice interviewing, we do CV updates, we review cover letters, we do all we can to help the students help themselves and position themselves. Like anything, we provide the opportunity for you that is London, and you take what's right for you and you personalize it to where you want to go. The university resources are incredibly helpful. And also the network that you build as a student here and as an alumni of University of Westminster is critical. So you've heard both Sarah and Andy talk about the group work that they participate in, those big projects. That helps build not only really important skills, but a good network for your future professional success.
Yeah, and I think Nicola alluded to it there. That Engage system sounds fantastic. 3 years post-graduation. That's brilliant. And also as well, to pick up on what you've just said there, Rain, in one sentence, you've mentioned togetherness and comes from within yourself. So there is a fantastic blend there of the types of student that are going to perhaps enroll on this program and the help that you're going to give them, which is fantastic. Couple more questions from me before we do wrap things up. First of all would be when and where are your application stages? So presumably you're looking for September 2025. Are there options for January 2026 in there as well, perhaps? And therefore, how does a student go on and apply and find out more information?
So I think all the details can be found on the website of the key dates. I would be afraid to give them. I might get them wrong. I have a lot of numbers in my head, but I would say check the website. We're definitely still accepting applications for September 2025. And it takes some time maybe to think about if a postgraduate study is right for you. So as you're thinking about that, check the dates, check in with any of our admissions team on any queries you have. That could also help you decide what timing is right for you. Nicola, what would you say?
Very much support what you say, Rain. I think do your research, look at other institutions, see if they offer you the same. And if you're ready this year, great. I know visa applications and things like that can be quite complicated. So, you know, prepare yourself. Think about how you'll fund your course. And either this year or next year for September start would be the best way to approach it.
Excellent. And presumably, and I would encourage any student that is watching that is perhaps apprehensive or not 100% sure in anything, they can reach out to you directly. They can ask those questions. They can go through it in more detail and perhaps speak to current students like Sarah and Andy that we've heard from today.
So you can certainly reach out with any query through the website. Those emails come directly either to us or to our admissions team, depending on the topic. So please do reach out if you have any questions. Also, as you're thinking about, again, if this is right for you, keep your eye on, we have postgraduate open days. So on campus, you can come and you can see the facilities and you can meet different students and you can meet some of the other lecturing team. Or we have the online open days too. And so you can join on an online platform at a time that's convenient, I think for most of you. And you can ask questions and hear from other students who are interested. So keep your eye on those events that the university has so that you can continue to learn and figure out if this is the right situation for you. We hope it is.
Excellent. And look, it's important to point out everyone that's watching today. There are a lot of registrations for this session, and there will be people watching on demand that will have strong interest in this. So if you've got any questions, reach out to Rain, reach out to Nicola, head over to the website. There's loads of lovely people, I'm sure, that will be more than happy to help you and answer your questions. But for now, there has to be a limit on this session, I'm afraid. Thank you for your time. It's been an engaging session. Thank you for your time, Sarah and Andy, in the background also. It's been great hearing from you. Nicola, also to hear from yourself as well, who's been at the uni for quite a long time. So great to hear from your side in terms of how things will go on the program and in the classes and so on from there. But for now, thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you. If you've missed anything at all, please look at YouTube, head over to postgrad.com, where this video will be held on demand. Thanks for your time, Rain and Nicola. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.